Hi folks, my name is Allie D'Andrea. Welcome back to MidwayUSA's YouTube channel. Today we are talking all about how to cut your arrows at home. And this is specifically for all of the bow hunters out there. I myself am a bow hunter. I've been bow hunting for about a decade now. And along the way, I figured out that it is really fun to work on your own bow at home. And cutting arrows and building out your own arrows is one of those things that you can do that isn't as involved as working on the bow itself, buying a press and doing all of that, but it still is extremely rewarding to be able to build your own arrows. So today we will be covering specifically how to cut your arrows at home. So without further ado, let's jump right in. First thing you need to know is your desired arrow length. When it comes to arrow length, this is incredibly personal to you and your setup. First thing you need to know is your draw length, because this gives you a really good starting point to figure out how long or short you want your arrows. In general, there's a bit of a range, and that range is about an inch shorter than your draw length to an inch, maybe an inch and a half longer than your draw length. And there's a reason for this. You may decide to go an inch shorter than your draw length if you're looking to maximize the speed of your bow. When you shorten the arrow, it's going to lighten the overall weight of the arrow, which will make it fly faster. The only downside to this is when you're bow hunting, you have, of course, a broadhead on your arrow. And for some people, they really don't like when that big, sharp broadhead comes behind their fingers that are gripping the bow. So some people like to go an inch, maybe an inch and a half longer than their draw length, because this will ensure that the broadhead goes beyond the riser and it never gets back behind your fingers. There's really no right or wrong answer here. It's just choosing whatever you are most comfortable with. I personally cut my arrows 1 inch shorter than my draw length because I am trying to get as much speed out of my bow as possible. And one final thing I want to mention that you do need to be aware of is as you cut length off the arrow, it becomes stiffer and the spine of the arrow will change. Selecting the correct arrow spine for your specific setup is very important. So make sure to pay attention to the manufacturer's chart of the arrows that you're going with to make sure that the arrow length, your draw length, your bow poundage, all matches up to the correct spine for your particular setup. Now let's go over all of the equipment that you need to cut arrows at home. The first and most important piece of gear is your arrow saw. Do not try to cut arrows at home with anything other than an arrow saw. That's really important for your safety and for proper cuts on these arrows. Second piece of gear that you need is a pair of safety glasses. You want to make sure to protect your eyes while you're cutting. It may also be a good idea to use a mask of some sort so that you're not breathing in all of the dust, especially if you're cutting carbon arrows. And an optional piece of gear, but something important if you want to elevate your game, is an arrow spinner, and we will talk about why here in a little, but that is all you need to cut your arrows at home. First step is an optional step, but one that I would highly recommend if you're really serious about bow hunting, and presumably you are if you're looking to do all of this at home yourself, and that is using an arrow spinner. So what you want to do is start with your bare arrow, no nock, no insert, just your bare blank arrow shaft, and you want to put it on your arrow spinner and give it a spin. And if it's spinning perfectly straight, you will just cut from the end that you normally would. But if you spin and you notice that there's a little extra wobble from the end that was holding the nock, you'll actually want to cut from that end. So basically we're just checking for straightness, and if one side of the arrow is a little bit straighter than the other side of the arrow, you want to remove the side that's wobbling. Step 2 is getting the saw set up for your desired arrow length. So on your saw, there will be a little piece here that you can unscrew and move to your desired length. Your nock will go right into the pocket, and as you're cutting, you want to make sure to maintain pressure back with your nock so that the very tip of your nock is pressed against that back wall the entire time that you are cutting the arrow. Once the saw is on and running, you're going to rotate the arrow and then slowly bring it towards the saw and continue to rotate the arrow as you push through until the saw makes a complete cut. Then you'll give it one final turn and then remove the arrow and you'll be good to go. So let's plug this guy in and see everything in action. And there you've got a perfect cut. Now that the arrow is cut, you are ready to glue in your inserts. I would highly recommend squaring off the end of the arrow, cleaning out the inside just with like a Q-tip with some water or some acetone to remove any of the debris and dust that happened from cutting the arrow. And then you're ready to finish gluing in the inserts. It really is that simple. Building out your own arrows at home is so much fun. It gives you the ability to customize and play and tinker and really make things the way that you want it. One other thing that I do want to mention, if you are going to be cutting aluminum arrows or say like a full metal jacket arrow, just go a little bit slower as you push through that saw. The aluminum is a little bit harder for the saw to work through, so you want to give it a little extra time. But aside from that, they'll cut just the same as the carbon arrows, and the process is really straightforward. Really easy. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to Midway USA's YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.